My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Cancers. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For this week, we're going to be doing the general readings and general love readings because next week we're going to do one of our final Dracula readings before we head off towards the All Hallows Eve event. So, anyway, I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarifying with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and finishing off with 3 yes or no answers for thee. So, let's get started with your reading. General card is the Knight of Wands reversed. So let's look at the first row. You start off with Ace of Wands, fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and then you get Ace of Swords, my goodness. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Then you got the Page of Wands going out on this very beautiful, fiery, passionate journey. It just looked like that this was really well thought of. Whatever, you were planning and putting time, effort, and energy into in the past really opened up this beautiful gateway, this path, this goal, voyage off towards this new journey. Wow. Yep, that's kind of it. It's pretty much, it's like you can think about everything you want. You can wish upon so many stars possible. You can pray, you could even think, you can write down, you could even burn, all of your dreams, wishes, desires in incense and hope for something to, that something is going to transpire from it. But it's usually about putting a lot of effort into it. If you want to increase the chances of passing an exam, you have to study for it, or at least gain a lot of knowledge and experience in it. But if you also want to get anything, it's also, about putting energy in it, at least applying, all of your energy into any kind of voyage, putting effort into it so you could pretty much head out into this world voyage quest, what have you. Pretty much makes sense. It's pretty much as straightforward, at least it took place in the past. It could still be taking place either way and stuff like that because it is just a general reading. Because then when we get to current times, Empress reversed, Virgo energy. 10 of Cups reversed, water placements. And then you get Earth, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo placements with Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay, it's like you are going down this voyage, but why would you not be presented with new beginnings, abundance, or some form of fertility as well? With the, feeling, somewhat directionless and having no motivation as a general thought, it's like the first card of the Dracula 11 card cross spread have anything to do with actually, with the Empress reversed, because afterwards you're also losing a lot of abundance in other ways. Happy home, happy hearth, happy family's not working out. Or it could also be lack of confidence within yourself as well, and it's pretty much also resulting in maybe not having a job, financial, moments are not working out in your favor as well. Well, I want to keep going, especially, I want to head down towards the clarification to verify this all. But you do start off with the Queen of Cups, one of your beautiful cards in the future. Yes, you might lose or not win some kind of battle with the 5 of Swords reversed, and is more or less gearing you towards heading out towards a different location or goal. You know what I'm actually seeing here? You don't want to be stuck in this reversed of Empress reversed, 10 of Cups reversed, and Queen of Pentacles reversed. These are really very good, cards that, sad but true, came in reversed. So now you're going to be putting in a lot of love, support, nurturing, and care into this future voyage of wherever it's going to be guiding you towards and stuff like that. Yes, you might just feel like you've just lost this big battle of something. But as long as you pretty much just realize, okay, I'm just going to take off either way. And sometimes you do actually have to listen to your own senses and intuition and think, what do you personally want and how are you going to go about it in other ways as well? Because for clarification, because I kind of wanted to able run off quickly, because the thing was, and I'm a little bit worried, but maybe, my senses can always change and stuff like that. So for the Ace of Wands, you do get the Fool. So you're putting time and energy on this leap of faith or this risk-taking endeavor. because maybe you did listen to my advice, or maybe you're actually, listening to your own senses, is that nothing ventured is nothing gained. If you don't go out, you're not going to get anything you really want. So, sad but true. If only things were different and stuff like that. I mean, I think a lot of my humans, back in my time, they pretty much, did so many, sacrifices with animals and stuff like that just in hope that something was going to transpire. Most likely it didn't work out in their favor. So, but that's why I think a lot of people, they're pretty much just actually hoping that this risk or any kind of risk or energy is going to be accentuating and amplifying any kind of like goal or outcome. Because with the Ace of Swords, putting time and effort, you were heading down towards this Five of Wands. This conflict or competition. So that's what I like to see is, you were pretty much, putting time and effort. So I think you were more or less just gearing for this upcoming voyage, this goal that you were heading down towards and stuff like that. I mean, I really hope that it actually did win in your favor, that you put a lot of time and effort. It's like, if you really want to, pass some kind of test or exam, all you have to do is just, gain as much experience and knowledge into that field or topic so you can increase your chances of actually, of passing it in the end, right? And so that's more or less what it's all about. I mean, I see you actually taking, or I saw you taking a leap of faith. Here you are being presented with that kind of competition. Because with this Page of Wands, you got the Nine of Swords. So maybe you actually did win, this new or this this battle of some kind. But yeah, with the Page of Wands, it's definitely, I do see some form of movement, but you are actually, or you were worried about it. Why would you be worried about it? What puts any kind of fear? I mean, I think that every thought is always considered rational because everybody feels and thinks differently, than other people, and it really doesn't mean, if you pretty much just still believe that there's monsters underneath your bed, I mean, I would never, because, there are still a lot of stories about how these people manage to, to end up under some person or child's bed, right? So then when you pretty much just think, well, there's something underneath here, and a lot of parents just say, oh, come on. And then when they look underneath and suddenly surprised, there's some weird stranger or homeless person that's, laying there, and you just think, whoa, that was a bit unexpected. So with any kind of fears that you may be feeling, I just feel like, okay, you just have to kind of embrace them. Because with the Empress reversed, and what I think what you were worried about is if you did win some kind of battle that you were worried about the future and stuff like that. So the future, for the Empress reversed, you got the Ten of Wands. So, it's like maybe you didn't get what you wanted, so that more or less opened up this Ten of Wands of saying, okay, we're going to now have to put hard work into something. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing is, it's like if you're worried about any kind of like upcoming thing, I mean, I'm constantly now just packed with worries. I think after October 31st, everything is just going to smooth over, stuff like that. But other than that, okay, so you're not getting, this new beginning, offering, or abundance, but yet I do see a lot of hard work. Maybe you do feel somewhat burdened about this current times for that matter with the Ten of Wands. But be rest assured, as I feel like this is pretty much, kind of necessary to actually have, so you can, learn from it or actually gain something out of it as well. So despite the Ten of Cups reversed, you're not getting abundance or any kind of like happy home, happy earth, happy family, but you are boarding the ship of opportunity of the Three of Wands. My goodness, one of my hairs is stuck on one of the cards. Eesh. Okay, even vampires can sometimes lose a few strands, can't we? Anyway, what we're seeing here is okay, so you're pretty much also kind of changing your fate and fortune as well. So you pretty much just think, I don't want to be living in a Ten of Cups situation. I want to actually head out towards something way better. And that's a very good step to have, even though you might not have the motivation or even feel somewhat directionless as a general thought for today. Doesn't mean that it's all game over. You just have to kind of, sometimes you do have to struggle a bit to eventually get that final goal or destination in other ways. You just have to put time and effort and energy, and that's what I already saw you doing in the past. So, for Queen of Pentacles reverse, you're not really feeling incredibly stable or grounded, or maybe you're out of a job, maybe you don't have a career as of yet, but you do get the Tower of this silver lining, big change taking place. And this is a very good, combination to have, because the thing is you're going to actually have to embrace change. Change normally does mean good. Means, if you want to change anything, whether it's, changing your mindset from going from, oh goodness, everything is just all doom and gloom, to actually changing it to saying, you know what, it's not all that bad. It's like in that aspect, it could definitely benefit you. But even, changing course, avoid venues and stuff like that could also open up new perspectives, new opportunities, new options and stuff like that as well. Because for the Queen of Cups in the future, you get Lovers, Gemini energy. So I feel like that, all the love, care, support, nurturing, and even healing is opening up this crossroads of Lovers for you, a Gemini card. So I just feel like that, okay, be rest assured, that sometimes, boarding any kind of ship of opportunity, or, embracing any kind of new options or opportunities is probably definitely going to be benefiting you, because here is a very beautiful combination in the future of options, opportunities, and it's pretty much just saying, okay, let's just try something. And then, even though you might potentially lose some kind of battle, or you're worried about actually losing some kind of battle, you're still, going to put time and effort into something. So maybe you're actually heading off towards a new location, maybe a new state, city, or country, and maybe you're not getting like all the jobs you want as of yet, but it doesn't mean that's all over, because here you are still putting a lot of time and effort into something, into your goal, at least your desires, your quests and stuff like that. So I feel like that sometimes, it's like, I feel like that today's reading, and I could definitely, resonate, even though I'm in Aries and you're a Cancer. The thing is that I still feel like, I pretty much have to force myself to do so many things myself. I mean, yeah, you would hope that any kind of motivation is because you're hungry, you want to get something to eat, then you go out and you find something to eat. You're thirsty, the same reason. But if you just think, oh goodness, I'm hungry, but I just don't feel like having to go out, or I just don't feel like having to cook or do this or what have you and stuff like that. Yes, it makes things a little bit more on the difficult side, but then you still have to force yourself in other ways to say, okay, this is the last thing I feel like having to deal able with, but if I don't do anything, then I'm going to just remain hungry or thirsty in other ways as well. Because here you're finally taking off. Maybe you're actually going over to your kitchen, or going out to a grocery store, or what have you in other ways. Or taking off towards a different location as well. Because you get abundance with 9 of Pentacles. And that's what I love to see. Is, it's like you would really hope that motivation comes naturally, even though deep down inside, the last thing you feel like having to be dealing with is having to stand in line at a grocery store, or having to, we'll see if anything is available and stuff like that, because maybe it may not, because I know that the human sometimes tells me of his frustrating experiences, which I think is sometimes rather, entertaining to listen to. But I think if I was put in a position like that, I'd probably also kind of go a little bit, nuts myself. But in other ways, this is you finally actually basking in, maybe you actually had to go to a grocery store, and now you're actually preparing a wonderful, beautiful meal or beverage for yourself. So I just feel like, yeah, just to not give up. That's kind of more or less the crux of today's message. Because your special vampire card says Page of Cups. What do you dream and wish and desire? And that's the thing. Because the Page of Cups is a very beautiful card. It's a daydream. And where do all of these realistic goals and ideas come from? It's from daydreams. A lot of people, they had this concept idea, this outline, blueprint, what have you, of any kind of idea. And the thing is as long as you just keep at it, you just don't give up, something is going to work out. And even I can definitely resonate with today's reading myself, because with this upcoming performance, because we're practically about a week away from it, the thing is I pretty much have to force the pianist, even myself, to say, let's just practice for like maybe 30 to an hour this evening, and then, everything is just going to work out and stuff like that. Because if you don't, it's just going to be hanging over you. It's just going to be this extra weight on your shoulders, your mind. You won't be able to actually focus or sleep, because you need to quench that thirst. You need to feed that hunger. You need to will proceed with that motivation, even though the last thing you even feel like having to be dealing with is having to do it. So, but anyway, Let's just head off towards Oracle because you get Menad. Madness, ecstatic ritual, and energy release. Now that's what I see as maybe, you might feel a sense of madness because when you're hungry, it's like, well, you need to, well, feed yourself. Otherwise your mind is just going to go around in circles thinking, goodness, we need to feed, we're hungry, we're thirsty, what have you, in other ways. But it's also about energy release and ecstatic ritual. So whatever you do, it's like, my goodness, what does she even have there? But other than that, it just pretty much is about energy release, putting energy into, your voyage, your quest, your endeavors, new job, new transitions, developments, what have you in other ways, because that's what you pretty much have to more or less just force yourself to go through. It's like every morning, a lot of humans I know have to wake up so early and stuff like that, like even, 2 hours after my slumbering. It's like I'll hear the human, just kind of, getting ready, for his errands or going off to any kind of store or location, what have you. And you just think, oh goodness, it's like a lot of people, they have to force themselves to do so instead of thinking, oh, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I get to go to work. Yay. It's like a lot of people, they just think, oh my goodness, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And now with all the darker times going around, I just don't want to have to go out there. But, that's where you pretty much just think, you just have to force yourself to do it. So, but anyway, I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered. For number 1, you get yes with strength upright, one of your neighboring Leo zodiacs. Ooh. Another yes for number 2 with the King of Swords, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. And then you get hit with the 5 of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy for a no. So you get 2 yeses and 1 no for today's reading. My beautiful Cancerians, I'm going to have to leave this at this for now. But if any Cancer placements, if this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I love you guys incredibly. I want to wish you all the best of luck on where this journey may take you. In a few days, I'm going back to the love reading. So for this week, it's just based off of general and love, because next week we're going to go back to Dracula, heading off towards All Hallows Eve. But I love you guys incredibly. I want to wish you all the best of luck again on where this journey may take you. And I love you guys, and take excellent good care of yourselves.